Welcome to the NDE World Podcast, where we explore the magical, mystical, and spiritual world of near-death experiences. And now, Ashton Lewis and Daphne Lynn.
Welcome to the NDE World Podcast. I am your host, Ashton Lewis, and I have my lovely hostess with me in the studio today, Miss Daphne Lynn. Hello, Daphne Lynn. How you doing today, girl?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you?
Absolutely fantastic, baby. Thank you for asking. Okay, welcome to the show, guys. Welcome to the show. Those of you who are at for the first time, welcome. And those who are returning, welcome back. And don't forget to go to the NDE.world website. Okay? Again, that website address is
NDE.world.
NDE.world. For more information on our podcast and episodes and all that good stuff. So today's episode, now it's actually a continuation of a previous episode. We're actually calling it a marathon because it's probably going to be quite a few episodes off of this particular topic because it's such a popular topic. And it is the topic of the life review that people experience in the near-death experience world. So anyway, without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into today's show. And if you would, Daphne, go ahead and read the question, and then we'll just go ahead and pick up with the comments where we left off earlier. How's that?
Perfect. Okay, so when you had your life review and felt the pain you had inflicted on others, did you feel everything, including the way you treated a store clerk or even someone who asked you for money on the streets? I'm just wondering how in-depth that review was.
That's a really good question. Yeah, it's a really good question. So this person that asked the question is it seems like they were actually kind of like picking out certain people by their occupational or certain experiences, like, a store clerk or, somebody on the street or whatever. Yeah, the first and foremost answer right up in front is yes, everybody. This pertains to everybody that you interact with in your life. Please understand what I'm saying, guys. Everything that you do, okay, you will re-experience. So do good, do love, do the best you can do, and it's never too late, okay? Speaking of, let's go ahead and jump into the first comment today. Well, there you go. It kind of ties in what we were saying. First comment says that you can change your life by becoming a nice person. It's never too late, okay? So you don't have to do all the meanness and the cruelty on this side and then have to pay for it on the other side. Be good. Find your highest, greatest good and find the good in others.
Mm-hmm. Because it's easy to find the bad.
It is.
You got to look for the good.
Absolutely. A lot of people are conditioned to look for the bad in people, and all that is, they don't realize that they're just mirroring themselves, Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to find the good in others until you find the good in yourself.
Yeah.
So it's all connected.
Reading this, what vision I popped in my mind, and I'm going to take it here. It gives a new perspective to the thief on the cross in the Bible with Jesus.
Okay.
When he said, "You will be with me this day in paradise." Gives a new perspective to what is coming next. It's never too late to be a good person so that you experience a better life review.
That's a nice little example there. Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's true, yeah. So if you have the power within you, if you've hurt someone, especially intentionally, that's where it really counts. But in any way, and are aware of it, then if you can, then as much as it may hurt you, you may not even want to. If you can, go fix it. You'd be surprised on just what a simple, love can come into the situation. I ain't saying you got to go back and do it. But if you're not in a situation where you can go back, then send the people your love and forgiveness. There's lots of different, ceremonies and lots of different cleansings out there, spiritual, where you can do it, meditations and stuff. And,
oh, yeah.
Maybe you don't want to, or maybe you just can't, or maybe you're not in a position to go back and redo what you did for whatever reason. So if you can't, you can still clear it within your spirit. Daphne, in fact, there's different techniques and stuff for that. What do you say?
Just write down who you've hurt, who has hurt you, and sit down and really go through this list thoroughly, each side of it, and forgive and ask for forgiveness.
And send them the love.
Send them out that love.
Yeah, for those that you've hurt and those that hurt you. and keep doing that, and send them love, and keep working on your spirit, keep working on that forgiveness. You'd be surprised on how much it would cleanse the soul.
Oh,
It's
it
really
does.
good.
It really does. I mean, because I've done a couple, I call it a forgiveness ceremony that I've done. I actually do it with the full moon.
Yes,
So
a lot of it's based on the energies of the elements and stuff like that. The moon
new
has this
moon
beautiful
and
energy.
full moon are the best two to do it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lots of energies there.
Yeah, most definitely. And you can, it literally lightens your energy. I mean,
Yeah.
you've done it. I mean,
People are, you'd be surprised on how much you carry around in your body, both the good and bad. You can harm someone, but that what you've harmed them with actually is inside of you still.
right.
Or someone could have harmed you, and that could have been years and years and years ago. So it's not real, okay? But it's real in your psyche. It's real in your heart, your mind, your spirit, your being. It's very real there. But the reality of that, it's not.
Right.
So it's never too late to change your life and get on the higher path of love, peace, kindness, forgiveness.
That's right.
And it's going to start with each of us as individuals before we can really work on it as a collective.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
Well said.
moving on along, would you like to take the next comment, Miss Daphne?
Yes, my own reviews seemed to last for months, even though I was only put into a coma for 5 days. And it was the most magnificent experience I've ever had. It will be vivid to me for the rest of my life. Immediately, I was awoken and came to the realization that there is no death. You don't die. Wow.
Yeah. And the wow is actually
It's
in
the
their
comment, not
yeah.
my statement.
Yeah. But we can say wow as well because there is some truth in that as
Yes.
well, So now here's something that's kind of strange in its own sense, but it does say that it seemed to last for months. Now I've heard stories that these life reviews are pretty quick, get in, get it done, and get out and move on. However, they were in a coma for 5 days, and it just said that it seemed to last for months, even though they were in that coma for just a few days. So anyway, it does say that it is the most magnificent experience they've ever had, and will be vivid for the rest of their lives. Now, I like this here, the comment, we get this all the time, and this is what we're all kind of sharing with here, and a lot of us share the same concept and idea and belief, is that there is no death. And you do not die. Would you like to comment on that?
Yes, it made me think about the book from Nicole Kerr that, her book is You Are Deathless. So, yeah, you do not, the physical body has to end, but you are the internal, you are that spirit. And anybody who's had an OBE knows this. Anybody who's had an NDE knows this. We, the living here, who have never experienced those type things, have to realize that and learn from these people's experiences.
We're all still working on it, still a
Yeah,
work in progress.
it didn't take me long once I started really reading up on this and watching videos on it. It did not take me long to accept that fact because I've always been a spiritual person. So the more spiritual you are, I think it would be the easier for you to accept the way that things proceed from this point.
Yeah, but there is no death. Death is an illusion.
Right.
Yeah, in fact, we've got actually a few episodes on that, that death is an illusion,
yeah.
guys. So, moving right on along. Now, this next comment says that during my life review, it was like a mere second. Okay, so now there's the contrast there, because a lot of them have just those quick in and outs. That's probably why theirs went so quick. The other one was in there for like 5 days, and they said it seemed like it went on for a while. So we do put out the disclaimer that everybody has their experiences is very specifically catered to that person.
Exactly.
Every experience is very specific, I guess you could say. Mm-hmm. Custom made, tailored.
That's right.
So again, the other one was, it seemed like they were in the life review for, 5 months, whereas this one says a mere second, which is what we hear a lot of as well. So let's go ahead and go on. It says, there is no such thing as time through the veil, as time was made explicitly for man. I was never made uncomfortable, as there is nothing but pure love on the other side? Did I feel embarrassed when my life review indeed showed both sides of me, the good things and the not so good things? The scale balances itself out for you. Now, I cannot speak for those things that obviously committed severe pure evil. It is not a judgment seat. It is to help you to realize the sorts of decisions you chose to make. Yes, I was somewhat embarrassed at some of my decisions, but as I said, the scale usually is even or balanced. You, as an individual, probably are able to bring to mind some terrible things that you did in this life. You also have perhaps forgotten the good and wonderful things, acts, and yes, even thoughts. Everything we verbally voice out goes out into the atmosphere, which is why we need to be careful with what we say. We cannot retract words or thoughts once they are out there. Mm-hmm. Just know that what awaits you is a whole atmosphere of undescribable love. I've said this before. There are no words in any human language that can describe this type of love. Do your best to use every day you are here to be the very best person that you can be. That's the taker right there. Mm-hmm. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow is not here. Yet, we only have today. And today could be the last day for any of us despite our age. Okay, some more comments there. Something to get you thinking.
Most definitely.
Get you thinking. So, comments, Daphne.
Yeah, that indescribable love. We hear from so many of these experiencers, you know, that is what's on the other side. You know, that even though this person's life review was just a second, they didn't go explicitly into any of it. You know, we have to realize that we have to be responsible for our actions.
Absolutely.
We have to be responsible for our tongue and our thoughts.
Yeah.
Because those things carry over to the other side. Even in joking and jesting, you know, we have to be careful with that. I mean, you don't want to be condemning somebody, even in jesting, because that could hurt that person.
You know,
and then you would feel that on the other side.
You touched something. Pardon the interruption here. I was just thinking that, you know, really what it comes down to, Daphne, responsibility. Self-responsibility.
Yes.
Now, what a lot of groups have done, in a lot of even mainstream religions, that they've taken responsibility away from you and they threw it on somebody else's shoulder. You know, there's religions out there, I'm not going to say the names, that you don't have to do nothing but just believe that, you know, somebody existed, or that believe that somebody is this, or believe that in that. That's all you got to do. You can sin. You can commit murder, you can commit crime, you can steal, you can lie, you can cheat, you can commit adultery, you can harm your fellow man, you can put down your fellow man, you can destroy them and put them down and curse them to hell for eternity, and you can be these monsters, okay? Do you see where I'm going with this? Mm-hmm. So it takes the responsibility off of the person, if that makes any sense, okay? And any great master will tell you, all of this starts with self-responsibility. Yes. You cannot keep doing what you want to do and make excuses and say, oh, I can do what I want to do because I believe. I can do what I want to do because I'm saved. I can do what I want to because somebody else has my back. No. Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. It is self-responsibility is what these masters taught.
Right.
You have to be self-responsible with what? Your tongue. That's one of my ones I've got to work on myself. I'll be the first to say, because I've had I'm old school. My mother raised me, you know, I tell it like it is, not like it was. And sometimes I get very, I don't want to say forceful and direct, but people know where I stand when I got something to say. And I'm like this. So that's something I'm working on. But the point is, all of us, we have to, even your words, you know, you got to control your words. You don't want to belittle somebody, okay? You don't want to be putting somebody down. You don't want to be just, you know, and that's something we're all working on. So, but that tongue can be used for kindness. That tongue can be used for love and peace and joy and uplifting people and tell them how awesome they are and any little thing that they do, lift them up. Man, that's awesome. That's great. How did you do that? Or man, I love the way you did that. Oh, wow, that looks great. Or get into the habit of uplifting others because the power is within you.
Even if you know some of these things, you can do that.
Absolutely.
You don't have to think that you know it all just because somebody may be giving the example, somebody's doing something that's cool. But, really, even if you know that, say, oh, wow, uplift that person.
Right.
Because it really raises confidence. It raises self-worth.
And you don't know. May I
Yeah.
interrupt? I'm going to tell you one experience that I had, and all of my life, I'd never been able to get out of my head. It was one of the most powerful, most influential comments that any person has ever said to me. And I was a youngster.
Gotcha.
Probably, I would say maybe mid-late teens. I don't know exactly. Long story short, I was walking one of the malls down here on the coast, and I remember passing by one of the stores. They have all these little outlets in the malls, these little stores. I don't even remember which one it was, but I'm sure it was close to a bookstore because that's where I used to live.
Right.
Yeah, I grew up in bookstores. So anyway, this one guy was out there, and all he was doing is, at that time, I would say he was probably my age now. He looked like he might have been in his mid-50s,
Mm-hmm.
And I was a teenager, so he looked like an older gentleman to me, of course. But looking back now, I'm like, oh, I'm actually his age now. So anyway, he's just his energy and his words were so constructive, so positive, so uplifting. Every single thing I told him, he fired back with something that kept lifting me up even higher. And I would say something to him, and he'd come back, and it's like, whoa, I've never had that kind of experience,
Right.
And before I left, I told him, I said, I appreciate you. It was really great meeting you and this. And, I said, you have yourself you have yourself a great day. He said, you have a better one, and just even that one line there, and what I learned from that conversation, within that conversation, okay, and I'll share this wisdom with you guys, okay? You get one chance within this incarnation, within this moment that we call now.
The moment, the eternal now.
You get one chance to be the best that you can be. Mm-hmm. You get one chance to love. Time is constant, okay? You have to put out the love, okay? Because today, what you're doing, everything that you do today, okay? Today's experiences become tomorrow's yesterdays or tomorrow's histories, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Or today's experience. So the point is, if you want to have good memories, all right, then you create good experiences. And how do you do that? Well, by being the best that you can be. Help everybody you can. Love everybody you can. Keep everybody high. Keep them up on the high vibrations. Keep people that every time when you walk around, they get a buzz just looking at you, because that's what you do. Okay. And when you do that with that experience, okay, then when tomorrow happens, okay, the only way you're going to be able to experience that today is through how? Your mind, your memory.
And then in the life review.
Now, whether or not, exactly, yes. Now, whether or not that memory is going to be pleasant or unpleasant, just like the life review, like you said, really has to do with what you do right now, what you do today. Mm-hmm. And that starts with yourself being responsible and with your thoughts, like we said earlier, with your speech, with your actions, with your deeds. Grow up spiritually, learn from these great masters like your Jesus and Buddha and Shiva and Krishna and on and on and on and on. And there's so many masters that taught us how to live.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
So. And you telling me that story, that is a beautiful story, by the way. How you were lifted up, but I'm going to tell you what really came to my mind. That was an angel intervention. You needed that boost in your life and that moment to stick out to you so you could move forward in that good,
I never
that
thought
betterment.
of it like that. That's a good point.
Yeah, because angel interventions happen all the time.
Well,
we just don't always realize
constructive.
it.
It was very high, very positive, and that was an energy exchange there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So good point. Good thought. Get you thinking.
Get you thinking.
Absolutely. Well, let's go ahead and move right on along. I'm sorry I got a little bit of sidetrack there, but
Oh, no.
I do that quite often. So
we love stories, though. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
And I like how it says right here, it says that yesterday is gone, tomorrow is not here, yet we only have today. That kind of ties in with what I was saying a while ago. What are you doing with the right here, right now?
Exactly, yeah.
You know, if you want to live in misery the rest of your life, then go ahead and keep creating the misery today. Whereas if you want to live in bliss from here and after this, create the bliss. It's that simple.
Yes.
You have the power. Take it back.
Yeah, stop giving your power to someone else. Take back your power.
Absolutely. So this next comment says that the smiling at a stranger has more impact than you can ever imagine. I
We say that all the
1000% agree.
time.
I was surprised at how my small actions had ripple effects down the line. Mm-hmm. The Creator picked up a rock and dropped it into a huge body of water. The ripples went on for eternity. He told me my actions are that rock. I have never forgotten it.
Wow.
Nice little analogy there, Daphne.
I
Would you
like
to take that
yeah.
one?
That's something we keep hearing so much of, is that ripple effect. And in the life reviews, you get to see how your actions not only affected that person, but that person's people in their lives, and it on and on and on and on. So that ripple effect, we have to be very mindful of the way we treat others.
That's right. That's right. People don't really grasp that. And that's a good point, Daphne. They don't really even grasp the rippling effect part of it.
Right.
A lot of people, some people don't even comprehend being tuned in or connected to the point where you're actually feeling that other person's pain and love and everything. They don't even grasp that. But the point is, if we're all one, you're going to feel all that. So
Right.
you take it a step farther, and you start throwing in that concept of rippling effects. What you did to that person that one day could have turned them into something that really had a destructive rippling effect through their whole life.
The thing that comes to my mind is, okay, say that we are having a bad day ourselves. We just woke up in a bad mood, whatever. So we're taking that out on the ones around us, okay? So the ones around us are feeling that negative energy.
That's right.
Okay, and then we leave and we
Now
go
they've
out
got
into the
it.
world and we've got a negative energy because of what just happened.
Yep.
And then we come
Spreading
across somebody at the store. You have to stop and do something. That next person, they're picking up your energy because you're in a funk because of what happened at the house.
Right.
There's just so many things, so many people that this is going to affect. That's why we have to be ever mindful.
Right.
Ever mindful of the way we treat others, the way we interact with people.
Absolutely. And quit doing stupid stuff and making excuses for it.
Right, yes.
So I like how it's brought out here. It says that the smiling at a stranger
Yes.
has more impact than you can ever imagine. Now, I love that. I've always believed that. I'm a smiler. You're a smiler. And I've always believed in that. And that's one thing. You think about how the system has been set up against us in a lot of ways. How, you got people walking around with these masks during these kind of interventions where they're kind of coming in and trying to control things. And you can't see a person smile when they're all hidden behind a mask. And so nowadays, I can recall, and not so long ago, you can be even at your local grocery store, or local Walmart, or local store. People would look at you. They would smile. Some people would wave. Some people would even, hey, how you doing? And in the last few years, people won't even look at you. Okay.
I know.
Some, may look up at you, or some may look, or, very few even smile anymore.
Oh, I know.
But I will still, start the smile, or I'll give it to them. And then a lot of times, you will get little responses. I will say that. But for the most part, people are forgetting how to even smile and how to give that love. And a smile is connected to a higher spiritual person. You're smiling because you're coming from a higher vibration. People who smile a lot are usually higher spiritual people. Okay. Because they're more tuned into higher, happier, joyful thoughts and spiritual lives and things like that. It's just a fact. Higher spiritual beings are more happier and smile more. Whereas the lesser spiritual, or the darker, the more negative vibrations and stuff like that, it's a whole different story.
Right. I'm out in the public a lot myself with the work that I do, and it is amazing to me just the disconnect that we are living in from everyone around us. I mean, you see, if you walk into a store, the employees that look through you, don't even acknowledge that you're there. I mean, this is total disconnect.
Right.
I mean, you look somebody eye to eye and you don't even see them.
Yeah.
That's disconnected from the world. That needs to be worked on.
Right.
You know, when we can show that love and acknowledge each other, that simple smile has more of an impact than you maybe ever realize.
It could be changing somebody's life forever.
Exactly.
Like, say, for example, the story I told you earlier about the guy in the mall. He had one of those addictive smiles, and that's one of the things that sticks out in my mind was his, you know, like I said, the energy was coming out, and the smile was addictive, if that makes any sense. Somebody's smile can be addictive. Yes, that man's smile was addictive. And I don't mean that in any kind of strange or
no, I get it.
Weird comment, but
totally...
I'm just telling you that there's something about him. He just, I'm guessing, like you said, he was a highly more advanced spiritual person. I'm sure
it could have even been an angel interaction.
Never know.
I mean, you just really don't know.
Yeah, you really don't know. It's a good
because I mean, look at the ending of the conversation. Have a better one, and then y'all parted.
Yeah, and it changed my life in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
I will say, it did. It took me on a lot of different detours. So it did have a...
I mean, and even if it was not an angel intervention, it was probably an angel intervention that the spiritual world knew that you needed to have that man in your life at that moment. Look at the ripple effect that he had on your life.
Yeah.
That ripple effect.
Perfect.
There you go.
Example. Yeah.
Yes.
And I never forgot that. Like I said, that's been probably... I was in my mid-late teens. And so, would you like to take the next one, Miss Daphne? Moving on along with the comments.
Sure. My understanding of it all, the life review and experiencing the results of your words, behavior, some say as much as 10 times what the recipient experienced, is for your soul's development. So you can grow. So you can become more compassionate, more loving, more of service. This is the primary quote-unquote message that many, most, or all people come back with after an NDE. That's exactly right. The soul's development, your growth, maturity as a soul.
That's exactly right. And I like how they emphasize those letters there on the first one there, that this is for your soul's development.
Yes.
The life review. It's not to condemn you, okay? It's not to judge you. It's not to punish you, okay? It's to help you grow. Mm-hmm. And that's love. That's love, so.
Oh, yeah.
All right, perfect.
And I love it, too. The more compassion and loving and more of service. When you can help others, that brings out something in yourself that helps you to grow.
And like it says, that's the main primary message is compassionate love and more service. Love it. So, moving right on along. Okay, it says, why is it so very hard to accept that there is a life review that gives pain to those people who give pain to others? Like, if he rapes someone, he will feel the pain, the trauma, the anger of the family members, and pain of the families and the victims. Is it not a consequence?
The ripple effect.
And I guess what they're saying is here is, why is it hard to accept that there is something like a life review where you get to go in there and experience the harm and the love that you put out?
Yeah.
To put you back in balance, to know where you're at, where you need to grow, where you need to work.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, we've got time for one more. Let's go ahead and take this last one here, and we'll go ahead and wrap that up. And, of course, this is a marathon, so we will pick up and carry things on the next episode.
Make sure you got your running shoes on.
Got your running shoes on, absolutely. So that's perfect. So Daphne, let's go ahead and if you would read that last one there, and we'll go ahead and wrap things up.
Sure. It says, I hear a lot of people saying they feel the pain they cause others by 10 times or even 1,000 times more. Is there a reason for this? I can only guess that it's the judgment we give ourselves by the standards of the love of which we are made.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So they're just asking here, they hear a lot of people say that we do feel the pain that we've caused others. But here it says about 10 times or even 1,000 times, they're wanting to know if there's a reason for this. Whereas, like, shouldn't it be just a balance of energies? Right. It should be whatever you felt, or would you feel even worse? Because I've even said that here on the show before, because I've read that myself, that you're going to feel it even more intense. Mm-hmm. But would that be justified? or to feel
I
more,
think
or
it's
should you just feel that balance to balance that energy out, maybe
to balance it back out. I mean, whatever you've put out, you get back.
Because I think that would fall over more into the heaven and hell, or the tormenting, or putting more on somebody. That
the reap what you sow.
Yeah.
If you put it out,
it has to be
that
balanced
energy, whether whoever it is you're interacting with, you will reap what they felt in the life review.
Right. That's beautiful when you really think about it.
Like I'm saying, when you go, you want to take it to a biblical sense, when you go back and read the Bible, having the knowledge that we have now, you see things on such a different level, like the reaping and the sowing. I get that now. The life review, and even in the physical world we live in now, it is multidimensional.
Yes. Well, with that thought in mind, we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and go ahead and just pick up with everything on the next episode. How's that sound?
Sounds really good to me.
All right, perfect. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go to the website. That's NDE.world. We love you so much, and may peace be with you all, guys. And until next time.
Y'all let your light shine.
For more information about the NDE World Podcast, visit NDE.world. That's NDE.world.